All right, we stay with the developments around the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. We'll speak to Dr. Charles Sinkala, international relations expert, who's joining us this evening. In fact, if we can, let's just bring up a little bit of those live visuals as we are looking at some of those who are attending this inauguration. We saw a short while ago there was Elon Musk, also Jeff Bezos is among those in attendance. We do understand the CEO of TikTok is going to be in attendance today. And this is a man who's returning to the White House after winning around 312 of the Electoral College votes compared to 226 for his Democrat rival, that's Kamala Harris. And at the same time, Trump is the first Republican, remember, in decades to win the popular vote and Electoral College, managing to win just over 77 million of the votes. The Republicans also managing to win both Senate and the House of Representatives. He also won 7 of the 8 swing states. So let's look at this moment and what does it mean then for the U.S. and the globe, and what tone does it set for the next coming years? Dr. Sinkala is still joining us as we look at this moment. Dr. Sinkala, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. Some are divided, saying that this moment to take this inauguration and the swearing in inside as opposed to outside where a number of people would have been. Others are saying it's because of the inclement weather conditions, but there are some who are saying that there have been attempts on his life and that's would have prompted this moment. Which side are you leaning towards?
Thank you very much. Anything is possible. As you saw that during the campaigns, his life was at stake for more than twice, so anything is possible. But to the large extent, I'll lean on to the weather. Because it has been such a disappointment from a lot of Americans and those visitors who are coming from outside the United States of America who wanted to attend physically rather than to see it online.
And when you then look at the fact that, this is a man who's coming with 312 of the Electoral College votes. Also, you look at the fact that he won the popular vote, and this is a man who managed to win 7 of the 8 swing states. Now the Republicans have control of the House as well as the Senate. Some are saying that he has a very strong mandate this time round.
Yes, indeed. It is quite, in fact, not only the strong mandate. Donald Trump's life was at stake as he faced a lot of prison sentence if he did not win these elections. So he had to go in. That's why now he has to manage the campaign promises to what is reality. And I think he'll find it very difficult to conclude all what he promised in terms of him winning the presidential race.
Now, Dr. Sinkala, when you look at the tone, some have had very different things to say, particularly about the tone that his presidency is going to set not only for the U.S., but also South Africa, as well as the continent of Africa, including other parts of the world. What tone do you think his presidency sets for, not only the globe, but also the African continent?
I think this is a historic elections. If we go back, his first term as 45th president of the United States of America, many of the people, not only within the United States of America and most of the international communities, had the view that Donald Trump is not a caliber of a president because of the way they thought. In fact, that he will never be a better president. But I think historically a lot of people now have believed in him, and we can see how massively he has won most of the seats and to control the Congress and as well as the Senate houses. And as well as the number of heads of states and government who has fallen into the United States of America to be part of him because they know that he's a drastic and robust leader who will change the normal conventional way of the United States presidency leadership.
So how does the African continent then watch this moment?
This moment is historic in the sense that politics now, the geopolitics and local politics within Africa has changed now. There's certain tone and certain type of system that has been brought up that, doesn't guarantee anyone his position as a head of state, and I think an inclusive of nationalization of citizen first. I think that should be the idea, that most presidents has to first embark on, and I think to the large extent that's made him to win the elections in the United States of America. Whether or not you were achieved to close the border from Mexico, I doubt that. Because now what is happening in the world that we have to leave, we are because of all of us. It is a world that is synced to everyone, and migration cannot be stopped, and not even now, because every third or second person in this world will be somebody from a different nationality.
Dr. Sinkala, we're watching visuals, right? Now we can see outgoing President Joe Biden. You see his Vice President there, Kamala Harris. And this is an administration that now is saying that as part of its legacy, they were able to then reach that ceasefire agreement, push the parties towards that when it comes to what's taking place in the Middle East. And then you have the incoming President-elect Donald Trump supporters who are saying that him talking tough in that press conference to the media should also, earn him some credit when it comes to pushing these parties to formulate this particular agreement and actually put it to action. Which side are you leaning towards?
I think I'm leaning to the latter side, in the sense that they know that the leadership of the United States has transitioned, and I think the time he won the elections as president-elect, he continued to do some talks in the Middle East and as well as in Ukraine, the Russian invasion in Ukraine, to assure the parties that immediately sworn in, he shall perform certain functions. And I think those are the things that made the confidence in terms of the negotiations of the ceasefire in the Middle East and as well as in Palestine and Israel. I don't think the S12 is true, because I think the Biden administration failed to, mitigate the risk or do diplomatic talks between those countries which are at war.
Interesting take there, Dr. Sinkala. I wonder, we just saw visuals of J.D. Vance as well, who's the incoming Vice President of the United States. Your take on him?
Well, very energetic, I can only see his energy once they do the last term of President Trump. I think he probably might take the next presidency of the United States of America.
It's going to be an interesting one. Thank you so much, Dr. Sinkala, for your time. Appreciate it. That is international relations expert, Dr. Charles Sinkala.